December 2025. Porsche announces it's shutting down its entire premium charging network in China, affecting around 200 stations, starting from March. Just weeks earlier, a Chinese car brand nobody outside Asia had heard of became the best-selling luxury car over $100,000 in China. The Huawei-backed Maestro S800 outsold the Porsche Panamera and BMW 7 Series combined. And in July, CEO Oliver Blume sent a memo to staff that was even more brutal. Our business model, which has served us well for many decades, no longer works. This is Porsche, a company built on precision, control, and decades of financial stability. The same company that earned 18,000 euros profit per vehicle. The brand that dominated racetracks with 30,000 victories. The icon that made the 911 instantly recognizable anywhere on Earth. Operating profit collapsed 99%, from 4 billion euros to just 40 million euros. So how did one of the world's most beloved car brands nearly destroy itself? For most of its life, Porsche was a company you could count on. When the first Porsche 356 appeared in 1948, it established what the company cared about: lightweight, clean design, and intentional engineering. That approach created something rare. Porsche became recognizable in a way most brands never manage. The 911 made that unmistakable. Low front, round headlights, a curve flowing effortlessly to the back. Even people who'd never driven one knew the shape. It hasn't fundamentally changed since 1963. Not because Porsche couldn't innovate, but because they refused to fix what wasn't broken. Sports cars made Porsche desirable, but SUVs made it profitable. The Cayenne in 2002, then the Macan, brought the brand into everyday life and turned into commercial successes. By 2023, SUVs accounted for roughly over 50% of Porsche's sales. Behind the scenes, Porsche maintained tight production control through vertical integration. This kept costs predictable and quality consistent. Porsche dealerships regularly ranked at the top for customer satisfaction, with exceptional owner loyalty in the United States. Everything seemed perfect until it wasn't. 2019, Porsche unveils the Taycan, their first fully electric vehicle. The specs were undeniable. 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds, around 22-minute charging from 5% to 80%. This wasn't just another EV, this was a proper Porsche that happened to run on batteries. CEO Oliver Blume laid out his master plan. By 2025, half of all new Porsches would be electric. By 2030, over 80% would be fully electric. Volkswagen is Porsche's parent company, though the ownership structure is complicated since Porsche also owns a chunk of VW. What matters is they're deeply intertwined. And Volkswagen, fresh from a global emissions scandal, had just unveiled Roadmap E in 2017. In late 2021, Volkswagen committed $100 billion to EVs over 5 years, but they needed funding, so they took Porsche public. September 29th, 2022. The IPO valued Porsche at 78 billion euros, one of Europe's largest public offerings ever. The market loved it. The Taycan was selling well, over 20,000 units in 2020. By 2023, that passed 40,000 units, closing in on the 911's 50,000 annual sales. Growth was double-digit. Margins hit 18% in 2023, surpassing Blume's target. Everything seemed to be going according to plan. Blume was even appointed CEO of Volkswagen alongside Porsche, but then everything fell apart. Sales for the Taycan went into freefall, from 40,000 in 2023 to just over 20,000, a 49% collapse. Owning a Taycan became a nightmare. All the new tech came with endless bugs, but the real horror stories came from service centers. One owner: "My 2020 Taycan has been an absolute nightmare. It was in the shop for 3 months this summer. Within days of getting it back, the AC stopped working, and it's now back in the shop indefinitely. I'm paying almost $2,000 a month for a car I can't even drive." The depreciation was brutal. A $200,000 Taycan Turbo S became worth $70,000 within just a few years. The transition to electric vehicles will take longer than we assumed 5 years ago. Our product strategy could deliver over 80% electric vehicles in 2030, dependent on customer demand. That last point is key. Porsche had missed something obvious. They missed the very idea of what Porsche meant. Porsche spent billions trying to convince sports car enthusiasts that electric was better. They built charging networks. They optimized battery technology. They created the most advanced electric sports car ever made. But they never stopped to ask, is this what their customers even wanted? Meanwhile, another problem emerged: China. China had been one of Porsche's strongest markets for years, but in 2025, deliveries in China dropped 42%. Chinese brands like Zeekr, NIO, and Xiaomi's SU7 began offering cars with advanced software, strong performance, and significantly lower prices. Then came the final humiliation. In November 2025, the Huawei-backed Maestro S800 became China's best-selling vehicle, priced above $100,000. This was a brand that launched just 1 year earlier. The S800 outsold both the Porsche Panamera and BMW 7 Series combined. It also beat the Mercedes S-Class and Maybach. How? The Maestro S800 starts at $100,600, undercutting the BMW 7 Series by $30,000, the Panamera by $55,000, and the Mercedes S-Class by over $100,000. But it offered Maybach-level features: triple-screen dashboard, a 40-inch rear projector turning the back seat into a cinema, automatic doors, crystal buttons, and a Rolls-Royce-style starlit ceiling. The world had changed. China could make great cars now, and they were cheaper, more reliable, and more advanced than what Porsche was offering. In December 2025, Porsche announced it would shut down its proprietary charging network in China. About 200 chargers gradually decommissioned from March. The premium charging experience that justified Porsche's six-figure prices, gone. By July 2025, the damage was undeniable. Operating profit fell 99%. From 4.04 billion euros to roughly 40 million euros in the first 9 months of 2025. Revenue down 6%, equal to 1.7 billion euros in lost revenue and 13,000 fewer vehicles delivered. Share price hit an all-time low, down over 60% from its IPO peak. The company was investing 3.1 billion euros into new facilities and EV infrastructure, spending that now looked like dead weight. CEO Oliver Blume finally conceded, "Our business model no longer works in its current form." The 80% EV target by 2030, Blume called it not realistic anymore. Porsche didn't fail because EVs are bad. They failed because they stopped listening to their customers. They optimized for shareholders instead of drivers. Luxury brands run on one fragile thing: belief. Belief that this brand is different, that the badge means something beyond the price tag. The question now isn't whether Porsche will survive. The question is whether it can remember what it was supposed to be before the spreadsheets told it to be something else. If you enjoyed this video, then the next video on the screen right now is perfect for you. Remember to subscribe, like, and comment down below your thoughts on this video. See you in the next one.